Today, we are reacting to why modern life is designed to break you. Let's go.
Modern life is designed to break you. And no, I don't mean that in a poetic, metaphorical way. I mean literally. Your job, your relationships, your lifestyle, even your sense of self. All of it is set up in a way that's meant to drain you. In a way that makes you feel like you're constantly behind, constantly not enough, constantly stuck, and constantly not as good as other people around you. And if you feel that way, it's probably not your fault. We're all going through something like this. Aside from the top 0.001% of people in wealth and status, I guarantee you that we're all going through something similar like this. It's not just dysfunctional, it's intentional. On a macro level, it's almost like there's a system in place, some kind of weird partnership between corporations, government, and just the overall culture that's been designed to keep you alive just long enough to milk your money and drain your life force in the process.
I can agree with what he's saying. Like, if you notice a lot of things in everyday life, whether I think we put too much on ourselves and our situations where a lot of it is draining you slowly. But at the same time, I agree with what he's saying, where you work that 9 to 5, your job is draining you. You have people around you that are, if they're not pouring into you, they're taking out of you. You have social media where you're, I don't know, like I don't know about y'all socials, but a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is like a lot of people have so much and that they portray it on the internet. And if you're following it and you're seeing it, if you don't have these things in your life, you start to question yourself. You start to say, damn, am I really behind? Because there's a lot of people our age and Gen Z who are just spawning. It seems to me like they're spawning with millions. They're spawning with hustles, and you want to see how they're doing it, but at the same time, I feel like you just got to use that as motivation. You got to use that as all right. It is possible for me to make a way for myself because you see other people doing it. But at the same time, if you're not using it as motivation and you're just following people and you're just seeing them be successful, it's going to drain you because you start to question yourself. You start to question your own abilities, thinking if you're capable of achieving the same things that they are.
Process. Is it just me who feels that way, or have you kind of started to see the same thing too? I mean, something
Yeah,
like that
I see
sounds
it. I see it.
extreme,
I see
but
it.
if you zoom out, I think that's exactly what it looks like. This system, if we should call it that, it's built for productivity, not people, for profit, not peace. And the craziest thing is that if you're not breaking under the weight of it all, then that probably means you're numbing yourself just enough to get by.
A
And
lot of people, so like whether you just, you know what I'm saying, you take the weekend to blow off steam, you go out with friends, you go drink, go smoke, you indulge in other activities just to take your mind off the day-to-day grind that you just went throughout the past week. A lot of people are just coping. It's a lot of us. I say us because everybody's coping.
and that's what they want. If you've ever wondered why you feel
Chapter
so
1.
disconnected from the world around you, why work feels so pointless, why dating feels like a rigged game, and why even basic happiness seems like something that's so difficult to achieve, you're not alone and you're not fucking crazy. The truth is that the world has changed, but we never got the memo. No one taught us.
Shit, I got the memo. I feel like the moment you turn 20, you realize that the world is different. Like it forces you to see things in a light that you really don't want to. It forces you to accept some things about the world and then accept some things about yourself that whether you knew about them and you were trying to avoid them or you just never knew these things, but you got to accept them because you got to fit into that role that society has made for you.
That. And we find ourselves still trying to live out meaningful lives in a system that's quietly stripped away everything that used to make life meaningful. And while we're constantly told to just work harder and grind and hustle, the truth is that it's tough for most of us. If it were just myself going through this, I wouldn't have the arrogance to talk about this topic. It's only because I know that a lot of people, especially young guys my age, were feeling overwhelmed and just quietly wondering, like, is this all there is to life? And I think no one wants to say this kind of stuff aloud because doing so feels like admitting defeat, but someone needs to talk about it. And I feel fine with doing
Exactly.
that because I don't see it as defeat. I see it as awareness.
I feel like you shouldn't see it as defeat. I feel like the more people come out and talk about these things, especially men, because I feel like not a lot of men come out and talk about their struggles, their mental struggles, because this life is a battle for a lot of men. You know what I'm saying? And it's designed to. I feel like the system that we're in is designed to keep men constantly pressured, to keep some type of pressure on you. I don't know how to explain it in a way, but it's like you just feel pressure from everything. You don't ever really feel at ease. You always feel tense because there's always something, whether something's wrong, whether something's bothering you, whether something's on the horizon that you're preparing for. I just feel like it's always something that's causing tension for most men. And a lot of, like, the more we talk about it, the more it becomes easier to understand. It becomes easier to deal with.
And awareness is the first step to breaking free. Because what we're up against isn't just a country, a corporation, or a culture. I can't even explain it, but it just seems like some kind of machine that's designed to keep you constantly tired, consuming, and distracted from what's really going on.
A good old American rat race.
I feel like
right
the
there.
most obvious problem nowadays is work and your career. For one, even just getting a job nowadays. It's like playing a slot machine that only pays out if you have a master's degree and already 5 years of experience for an entry-level job. Some of the demands you see on job applications is just crazy nowadays. It's hyper competitive, it's cutthroat, and thanks to AI, things are about to get even worse. It's already hard enough to compete with other people around you in a globalized economy, but soon it's not just going to be other people. You're going to be competing against robots too, machines that don't sleep, don't eat,
Robot reaction channels.
don't get sick, don't take days off, and don't require money to survive. If a corporation can cut costs and get the same efficiency or even better, why the fuck would they not do it? It seems like the job market is just evolving faster than we can adapt, and most of us are left scrambling to catch up if you're not like the top 0.1% of talent. But let's say you do go through all that hassle of applying to the job, and you do get it. Congrats, what's next? You get to work 9 to 5 for the next 40 years of your life while the government takes your taxpayer money and sends it to Israel, giving your entire life and your energy to a company that can just let you go without warning if they ever wanted to. But during the time that you are lucky enough for them to allow you to work for them, you spend your days doing tasks that just feel meaningless, sitting in boring meetings, writing mundane emails, and overall just pretending to care about things you don't really care about, if we're being honest. Also, you can do what? Afford rent, food, a house, groceries, a Netflix subscription. It just becomes a cycle of living to work and working to live. But what's the point in all that? It feels like there's no dignity in it anymore. And unlike in the past, not even like a sense of stability. Again, the global marketplace is more competitive than ever, and companies have more reasons than ever to fire you without warning. The whole process of going through like a normal job and career, it just feels like endless resumes, endless rejections, and the looming fear of falling behind. But what's worse is that in the past, there was at least reason to justify living that way. They sold you the dream of a stable career with a pension and a paid-off house. But it's 2025, and it seems like that whole thing is a relic of the past.
It just that I never quite really understood the American dream. Like, you grow up hearing about, well, not everybody grows up hearing about the American dream because I feel like it's different for everybody. Everybody's goals and aspirations are always different, and what you desire to achieve is always different. But the American dream for most people was always you have that house, that white picket fence, that perfect family, that perfect car, the perfect job, the perfect career. And like, especially today, but I never really seen it in my eyes how it would be attainable, because as one person with select amount of energy, how do you pour into all these different facets and still, like, it's hard to explain. It's just like you don't have all the time in the world to do this stuff, but once you get all of this stuff, I just I can't fathom how the brain of a person could even relax and enjoy it, because after you bust your ass to get all this stuff, you got to bust your ass to keep all this stuff. And it's just like, it's like a never ending wheel. You grow up chasing these desires and aspirations, and after you get your desires and aspirations, you got to bust your ass to keep these. Like, there's just no mental attainability. I just feel like that American dream that people wanted back probably in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe that was attainable then, because life wasn't kicking your ass every fucking day. But now it's just like life is designed to beat you down, and you can't even reap the rewards of it because you can't get the things that you were promised. That good American dream, you can't. It's I'm not saying you can't, because you can, but that shit comes at a cost. Whether it comes at a cost of your time, your energy, your happiness, your saneness, your stability. It comes at a cost. But is the cost worth it? That's what a lot of people, I feel like, are starting to realize, or they're starting to question. Is it worth it? Chapter 3.
In the past, most people worked normal jobs and lived normal lives, but they had something to live for, something deeper, a family, a relationship, neighbors and friends around you, a community, a nice little house in the suburbs with the white picket fence and all that.
Literally just said that.
It wasn't necessarily glamorous, but it gave life structure, and it gave the average person something to live for, and something that they could realistically achieve within their lifetimes. But now, that vision is practically a fantasy. It's very hard to be just a normal person in today's world and succeed and be happy. Everything has changed. For example, with the prices nowadays, home ownership is out of reach for most young people unless you inherit wealth or get incredibly lucky. Starting a family feels like an impossible task when you're living alone or with roommates and rent takes up half your paycheck. Even if you do try your best to live the American dream of that previous era while working a normal job, it would cost so much to raise just one kid, let alone 3 or 4 like many families used to have in previous.
Yeah, I don't think, how can I phrase this? Like, I never understood how people in certain situations, they felt comfortable just popping out all these children, especially knowing how the fuck are you going to fund that situation? I feel like you got to know your situation. And yes, I feel like adding to your family is always good, but at the same time, you add in so much to your family and then you're struggling, like weekly struggling, daily struggling. It just becomes like a little reckless in my eyes. I don't know.
Generations. But even dating, which is the starting point to get to all of that, has completely fundamentally changed.
Chapter 4. Modern dating.
Back then
is
it was
quick.
simple. People dated within their communities. There were natural opportunities to meet people through things like friends, school, church, or just hanging around the neighborhood.
Yeah, but then social media got introduced, and I feel like you're starting to see too much. I feel like the humans, we weren't designed to see too much, especially in society. You always see what was around you. You always see who you were growing up with, friends, families, coworkers, friends of friends. It was always that way. Now you have immediate access to a person that's fucking 40 states away from you, fucking thousands of miles away, countries away, continents away. You have access to so much, and you saying so much. So I can see how, like, yeah, it's a weird time that
people went outside in cities.
I say welcome to Camden. The fuck is this at? Shit, that's not the Camden that I know.
Were walkable, but now everything is digital. You see those graphs about how online dating has just skyrocketed in recent years. Relationships, something that used to be deeply meaningful to us as people, it's just been turned into a fucked up game. Swiping, ghosting, algorithms, ELO scores. What the fuck, dude? It's harder than ever to find someone.
Imagine not being able to pull something because you don't got enough ELO. That's wicked.
who wants to build a future together with you, let alone someone you connect with on a deeper level. And dating is extremely tough, especially if you're a young guy in this era. It just feels like you're playing a game that's stacked against you. Dating apps have basically ruined everything. Sure, they've made it more convenient, but they've also made it way more superficial.
Yeah, superficial and less ingenuous. Well, less genuous. That's how you say that? Less genuine? I think it's less genuine, yeah. But yes, I feel like dating apps have made everything a little like a game, less genuine, less like there's no the human aspect of connection is not always there for a lot of people. It's just designed to pass time now.
Your face and your height are what you get judged on, and if you don't look a certain way, you're practically invisible. You can be a kind, thoughtful, intelligent person, but if your photos don't scream 6 foot tall with a chiseled jawline, good luck. Good luck with that. And even if you do match with someone, the odds of it going anywhere meaningful are so slim. It seems like everyone's dating with 1 foot out the door already, and especially girls who have so many options on these dating apps. It's like trying to pick from a buffet. Everyone wants to keep their options open. Everyone wants to find the best person on paper instead of finding a person who's good enough and then trying to build the best relationship from that. So, long story short, we've gamified human connection, and in doing so, we've made it disposable. That's why more people are lonelier than ever, both guys and girls. That's why our mental health is worse than ever on a societal level. It's all just a system of endless short-term interactions. Cheap thrills, no depth, no commitment, just the next swipe. Everything is surface level, and it seems like we're losing the ability to connect with people in any real, lasting way. And part of it is because even the cultural messaging has shifted. A lot of people, but especially women nowadays, are encouraged to prioritize career and independence over everything else. Like, I want to be a boss babe. And that's fine if that's genuinely what you want to do. Like, no one's here to judge your life preferences. But if we're just being honest, it's led to a dynamic where relationships are seen as optional, even burdensome.
Yeah, everything is fucked up, bro. Everything is fucked up.
And again, while some people might enjoy that freedom, I feel like a lot of us are afraid to admit it, but on a deeper level, we're craving something more. And that gives rise to the loneliness epidemic, as everyone likes to call it. It's so ironic that we're the most connected generation in history, but also the loneliest. You see the studies about people who say they feel like they're chronically lonely, and the numbers are only going up. Social isolation is really like a public health crisis, but no one's talking about it because no one wants to admit their problems.
It's a weird feeling because I always felt like this growing up too. Like, I don't consider myself like I'm in the middle of the spectrum because you have introverts, you have extroverts. And I've always seen myself kind of in the middle, whereas I've had friends, I've had associates, I've been in situations where I felt comfortable being around tons of people, and I've been in situations where I feel like personally I just get social anxiety and I feel like I shrink in mass crowds of people. And it's weird to me because I had this analogy when I was in college. It's like in certain circles that you're in, the more people you're around, the loneliest you feel. To me, that's how I always seen it in my eyes. Sometimes I felt lonely when I was around some of my best friends and big groups of people, and I never really could explain it. I still can't to this day, but it's just like maybe it's this generation thing where it's crazy how he said, like, you're right, we are the most connected generation on the internet, but at the same time, the connections aren't real. I feel like a lot of them aren't real.
Because I feel like people think that's embarrassing to admit. But just being real, most people that I know live alone, work alone, scroll alone, and just aren't in relationships either, at least not long term. Me and my friends spend way too much time sending each other reels on Instagram, but even though we're technically connected through our phones, it's not genuine. And in general, just through social media, we find ourselves watching other people live their lives while quietly wondering why ours feel so empty. But the truth is that everyone's feeling empty, it's not just you. Even the ones who post how glorious their lives are on their stories and Facebook pages. And again, the lack of third spaces is another reason. Most people's lives nowadays are just condensed to you work, you go home, you scroll or watch Netflix or some shit. Cities aren't really walkable. It seems like everyone's in their own little bubbles. There's not too many socially acceptable places where you can just talk to people or just hang out or...
And even if it is, it feels weird. Like, I don't know how, but it feels, to me, it just feels weird talking to people. Like, especially because you don't want to feel like a burden. You don't want to feel like you're intruding. You don't want to feel too out there, to me. And I don't know if it's just the way I was raised, because it's not even the way that I was raised, because I don't want to say that, because I wasn't raised to just be like a social pariah. Nobody's really raised to be a social pariah. You go to school with random people. You make friends that way. You go to college, you live in a dorm with a random person, you make friends that way. You go to work, you work with random people, you make friends that way. But at the same time, in today's society, I just feel like it's becoming a social norm to not be as sociable as it was before. Like, if you go look at a VHS tape of how they lived in the 2000s, where everybody's face wasn't glued to a digital screen. Everybody wasn't so fascinated with posting and trying to maintain an image on the internet. People just lived. I wish us during this time period could experience that time period where we could have just lived and see how it feels to not have to be something you're not, or feel like you're forced to be something you're not, or to maintain an image, to have a not only a real life but a social life. And when I say social life, I mean internet life, because I feel like that's what it is. A lot of people live two lives. You have your main life, which is your everyday, which you do on a daily basis, and then you have your social media life, which you choose to post, which you choose to portray online. I feel like that speaks for you. That is you. That's your social presence. So
meet someone new, everyone seems isolated and atomized. And then you wonder, why does life feel so hollow? But the answer is obvious. It's because we're not meant to live like this. But even if everything does seem to work out for you on the surface, like you have a job, you have a partner, you're planning for the future, how do you afford everything? Housing prices, like I mentioned earlier, are going insane. The cost of food is rising. I show this picture all the time, but I've seen eggs that are selling for like $18 at my local grocery store. And all this time,
if I ever go to a grocery store and an egg say fucking $18 for a 12-pack, I might fucking shoot. I might, yeah. it's gonna be a day for myself. I'll tell you that much. That's insane. Not only is inflation hurting your pockets, but it's hurting everything. Everything is expensive, bro. Everything.
wages are barely budging. It's not like wages are increasing so.
And the fucking wages ain't inflating. I don't get that. I just feel like as things get higher, your pay should get higher naturally. That's just how it should work. Like, it makes sense, don't it? Like, it shouldn't have to be I gotta convince my company to pay more, because look at the fucking world we live in. It's hard. It's hard to cover basic weekly necessities with the wage that's not rising, but everything else is rising. How's that even fair? It's not like fair. I don't get it.
So much to make up for it. Most young adults today just will never be able to match the buying power of their parents. And meanwhile, every aspect of life is being turned into a payment plan right in front of our eyes. You don't buy a car anymore, you lease it. You don't buy a service anymore, you have to subscribe to it. Even when I go on Amazon, which is supposed to be for like one-time purchases, I see all these options for like subscribe and save, where they deliver that thing like every few weeks or something. You're being conditioned to normalize renting out your life, but there's no alternative, so you keep on paying. The system is rigged for dependency, and those big companies just make more and more money off of you. It's not like I can just use a flip phone instead of an iPhone. And the looming threat of all this is that, especially in a country like America, a single emergency, like a medical bill, it can set you back months, even years in some cases. So for many people, the idea of saving up for wealth, it feels like a joke. No matter how well off you are, if you're not in like the 0.1% of earners, you're essentially in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, it's hard to find actual joy and achieve your true potential in everything. No time for passion, no time for a dream, just time to go to work and scroll on social media. I feel like I've been all over the
Shit, I know it's not my fault.
place in this video, but the bottom line I'm trying to get across is that the things that used to give people a sense of happiness, like community, connection, stability, family, purpose, raising a child, those things are no longer guaranteed to us, and it's not even close to that, honestly. And the system didn't give us anything meaningful to replace those things with. Instead, it gave us screens, it gave us social media, it gave us hustle culture, it gave us endless content and dopamine hits. Every app you use is designed to keep you distracted. Even the news cycle is meant to keep you scared. I go on YouTube, and a lot of my YouTube feed nowadays is just bombarded with what's going on in the world, when it's not like I searched for that shit in the first place. The content machine is engineered to keep you scared, and when you're scared, you're more likely to listen to what the powers that be tell you. It seems like we're being kept stimulated just enough to never question why we're unhappy. And when we do it, we're told that we're the problem, that we're lazy or entitled or not trying hard enough or just too negative. But that's not the truth. The truth is that Gen Z, or whatever you want to call it, we're still trying.
Look, see, I feel like if anybody's trying to call you lazy, don't take it, like, unless, like, if somebody calls you lazy and you know that you lazy and you know that you bullshitting, obviously you'll feel some type of way because the shoe fit. But at the same time, if you know that you're doing your best, don't ever try to let a person call you lazy. Don't even entertain that thought. Don't let a person make you feel some way about yourself, because if you know that you're busting your ass, then you have nothing to worry about. Keep doing your best. Keep showing up every day. Keep showing up for yourself, because it'll pay off. It will.
It's not like an entire generation of people just got lazy overnight all of a sudden. Some might say we're trying harder than any generation before us, at least on the mental side of things, but we're getting less in return. The game has changed, the ship has sailed, and the rules are different than what it used to be. And if you've ever personally felt like you're not built for this world, something just feels off, I just want to say that it's probably not you. Stop blaming yourself. You're conditioned to want to blame yourself, but it's not always your fucking fault. In the end, there's no perfect answer, but if modern life is designed to break us, then the only way forward is to stop letting it. And by that I mean to try to at least build something different. Why play by the rules of a game that's rigged against you to begin with?
Yeah, don't give things in today's society too much power, because if you do, it becomes you. It fuels negative emotions around you and in you. You can't give things too much power, because it takes away from so much of the positive that you have in your life. If we it should be a natural thing that you know, but if you focus too much on negatives, that shit literally drains you from the inside out. It drains you, bro. But that was the gist of the video. It was your boy RushMoreRick, and we just finished the reaction. Make sure y'all like, comment, and sub. We gonna get some more videos uploaded today, and we out. Deuces.